Welcome back. We want to continue our conversation now with Jesse Holland and Tracee Lydia Garner, two accomplished authors. And Tracee, I'll begin with you because my own story was I wrote a book about a black man that was poised to become the nation's first black president. And the publishers laughed at me at first. And then Barack Obama won Iowa, and it was the greatest book that they ever saw. And then he lost New Hampshire, and they said, it's never going to be published. And then he won. And they all said, we should have published that book. With regards to your own voice, is there a sense as a black author that there is a voice that they want to hear, that they associate with black folk? And is that necessarily the black folk that you go to church with or eat dinner with?
There's a bit of a issue, with both the voices and finding diverse voices, and then what's kind of trending. Today's publishers are looking for the next big thing and what they see, but then that was already put out and led by whoever was yelling the loudest and yelling most often. I joke around that, sometimes what if Martha Stewart made a mask out of toilet paper, it would be all the rage. But if right now you did it on your own, you would get nowhere and you would be laughed at. And so we're always looking for who is going to be the most trendy, and it's really just who's yelling the loudest and who's getting the most attention for whatever product they are going to sell. But you're also going to be able to separate those that have longevity from those that are just trying to be gimmicky and have a hit right now, years later. And unfortunately, nobody has a crystal ball. You can't see who's going to be, but you should also take more chances on voices that you don't know and that are marginalized. And then you'll really have something to work with as opposed to just following different trends. That can be really exhausting over time.
Jesse, your thoughts, and I think I could begin with the famous line, I was born a poor black sharecropper's kid. Pick up the story from there.
Yeah, exactly. It seems like sometimes there are those basic storylines that the literary community wants African Americans to fall in. They want to hear about your life in Cabrini Green, or they want to hear about your life as a sharecropper's son from Mississippi. But there are so many other different stories out there that the African American community encompasses. We can write anything. I'm working right now with a bunch of great African American science fiction writers on a book. People can name Octavia Butler and nobody else, but there's a whole cadre of great science fiction writers out there who are African American and African heritage writers. We can write anything because we are such a talented community, but a lot of times we're not given a chance. We're told that we're supposed to be writing street lit or we're supposed to be copying Ta-Nehisi Coates. We can do more. And it's time for the literary community to allow us to show what we can do instead of telling us what they want from us.
And we should point out, this is not a negative review of any book that is out there. Somebody asked Toni Morrison once, they said, you are the next Maya Angelou. And she said, no, I'm the first Toni Morrison, which is that there's this tendency to believe that a different voice is the new black voice. We're a multifaceted community. Tracee, you're working with a lot of budding authors. Are you seeing things that are good that are being ignored?
Definitely. Like I said, I have a disability, and I see people writing more about people with disabilities that are kind of the superhero of the day, where their disability isn't a villainous character. I think that people don't realize that some of the portrayals in the current media is that, disability is such a negative thing, such a thing to be amplified, and it's always for evil. And there are lots of people that I read in young adult fiction and regular fiction, that are just really challenging those, because we have so many stigmas that we have to dispel and stop perpetuating, in order just to be humanized and to be regular people. And so I think that I'm excited about those voices coming through.
Before I let you go, Tracee, I'll give you the last word. How do you break the mold of the stereotype that you create for yourself? Elin Harris was a New York Times bestselling author who wrote about gay life, but he wanted to write the great American novel. And the publisher said to him, no, stick with the gay thing. How do you get out of sticking with the gay thing?
Yeah, this is something that I keep coming up upon, because how do I get out of just being, a great author who happens to have a disability? It is real work. And that is not all that I want to be known for. What I, think about is just how can I just be the best, Black woman myself, just the Black best human, best person, and, a daughter, and be this person. And also I keep looking for role models. I have a group of women who are African American who also have disabilities. We meet, we talk, we vent to one another, and really staying in touch with so many different people, not just that group, but other groups in my life and in society, to ensure that my mind also stays current and stays with what's going on, what's happening, and all the diverse pots that are all around me every single day. One of the things that bothers me is that so many of us create a bubble where we only see what we want to see, and we only do and hang out with those we want to. There's so much more out here, and you have to let other things touch you and be impactful on you and absorb that. But you got to get out of your comfort zone, and you have to try to reach those other sectors.
Tracee Lydia Garner, Jesse Holland, two of my favorite authors, and we will promote your books on this show because at least we have this one voice, and we will see if we can magnify that. I want to thank both of you for being with us this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.